Hello and welcome to this tutorial on the Elementy software. Today we'll be going over interactivity using the click to action and action to switch widgets. The click to action and action to switch widgets can be used together to create a wide variety of interactive content. From simple interactive content with buttons that only change the media being displayed on one page to more advanced interactive content with buttons and triggers that could change between different pages. Let's start with a simple example to get you familiar with the functionality and how these two widgets can be used together. First thing I'm going to do is go to the Widgets tab in the bottom left side of my screen in the Browse panel. I'm going to scroll down to my Interactivity folder and double click in. First I'm going to add these two widgets to my project, so I'm going to drag and drop my click to action and my action to switch. Now our click to action widget is going to be our buttons that we use to change the media being displayed inside of our action to switch widget, which you can see right here. So I'm just going to resize my action to switch just a little bit larger. You can also make it fit the screen if you want by right clicking on it. But once I have it set up the way I want, we're going to start by assigning shared variables to both of our widgets. Now a shared variable is just a word or a phrase that's actually going to associate your two widgets together. So let's just start with our click to action by double clicking into it. Once I double click in, you'll see our properties with a name field and a value. So next to shared variable, we're just going to type in whatever word that you want. Keep in mind that for both of your widgets, they're going to be the same so that they can be associated together. So I'm going to do variable, click enter. I'm going to go to the top right, click leave, and go to our action to switch widget by double clicking in and typing the same thing. So next to shared variable, I'm typing in variable. And again, this can be any word that you choose. It doesn't have to be variable. Click enter. So now that we've typed in our shared variables, let's start by renaming our buttons. So at the beginning I mentioned the click to action widget is going to be what associates our buttons, or it's going to have our buttons inside of it. So if I double click into our click to action, you'll see our shared variable. If I go to the mappings tab to the right in the edit panel, you'll see that I have two buttons by default. So under button, button 1 and button 2. So to rename the buttons, I can just double click on this blue gear. My layer properties dialog will pop up. I can go to edit text. I'm just going to rename this one to image. If I go to button 2, I can double click on this blue gear, go to edit text, and do the same thing. I'm going to name this one video. Click OK. So now we've renamed our buttons. You'll notice to the right of button, there's an action field. So we have two actions, and there's two values here, P1 and P2. Now if I go to my other widget, which is my action to switch, and go to mappings, you'll see I have P1 here. Now these actions that you see are going to associate what is displayed inside of your action to switch widget. So in click to action, you have P1, which will be associated to P1 inside of my action to switch. Now we don't have a P2, so I'm just going to go to the top right and click an add text layer and type in P2 under action and click enter. So now image will be associated to P1 and video will be associated to P2 because again they both have the same action value typed in. So for P1 we're going to want to put an image here, and for P2 we're going to want to put a video. So let's start by importing in some images and videos to our project. So if I just pull up my file explorer and go to demo pics, I'm just going to drag one image in and I'll just drag in a video. I'll actually drag in 2 videos so we can set a video for our default page. So let's see. Bring in 2, just dragging and dropping them into the browse panel. So let's first associate to P1 an image, since that's where our image button is associated with. I'll drag the image that I just dropped in over page 1, and I'll drag a video to the right over P2, which is associated to our video button. Now, at the top you see we have a default page. This is just what's going to display when no buttons have been pressed. So we'll just put a video in there for now. So this is the default video that you'll see before you select a button. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the top right and click my leave button. We'll save it by clicking on the hard drive on the top left. And let's test this out. So inside of our preview panel on the top right, we've got this hand, which is our edit test button. So I select this, and now if I double click on, or just select once, image, my image will show up, and if I click video, our video should play that we associated to P2, and it is. So that's the basic functionality of the click to action and action to switch widgets. Now you can also use these widgets for more advanced applications. So I have an example project here where we have different layouts with click to action buttons being nested inside of them to create more advanced interactive content. So here we have our action to switch widget, which is the only layer inside of our main project layer, And if I double click on my action to switch widget and go to mappings, you'll see that I have a list of layouts inside of it. And if I click on this button, which is click here to explore, I can actually navigate to different pages. All of this is built with our click to action and action to switch widgets. The action to switch just has the different pages that you'll navigate to inside of it, and you'll see we have actions, P0, P1. All of these are actually associated to click to action buttons that can be found inside of our layouts. So if I double click into this home page layout, you'll see inside of here I have a click to action button, which if I double click into, with a mapping that goes to P1. So clicking this button will take you to our P1 page, and our P1 page, if I go back to my action to switch widget, you can see is this directory page. So if I click here to explore, it takes me to this page. Now all of these layouts have click to action buttons inside of them that are associated to the different layouts that are inside of this action to switch. So as you can see, the click to action and action to switch widgets actually give you a ton of functionality when used together. They can be used together to create wayfinding projects, interactive menus, and so much more. More on these widgets can be found on our support wiki at support.spinx.com. Thank you for watching this video, and have a great day.